Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Wheel podcast. This episode begins a four-part series of the live interviews we did at the FMCA rally in Tucson in late March. We had a great time at the event and look forward to attending more in the future. It was a friendly atmosphere with a lot of activities for everyone. This first episode of the series is from the first day of the event. We kick things off with the CEO of FMCA, Chris, but unfortunately, I made an error and the audio quality is terrible for the audio podcast. But you can listen to our discussion with him kicking off the week on our Facebook page. We also recently had him on the podcast, so check out episode 82 if you are interested in learning more about Chris and the FMCA. The second interview of the day was with Justin from Blue Ox. Many motorhome owners know the name if they tow a vehicle behind their RV. They are one of the big names in the towing industry. Justin went into a lot of detail about the company, the products, and the customer service after the sale. We hope you enjoy this live interview with Justin from Blue Ox.
Hey everybody, so we are back at the FMCA rally. We are joined by Justin, who is with Blue Ox, and we're just going to get this started right away. And Justin, thank you for joining us today.
I appreciate being here. It's a great place.
We love having new guests. We've never had you on the show before, so this is exciting for us not only to be here, but be talking with you and Blue Ox and learning a little bit more. So just to kind of start us off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Blue Ox?
Sure. Well, first off, we appreciate the invite and Blue Ox being part of your podcast. We go to a lot of these FMCA rallies, as a lot of our customers know. We do a lot of servicing, sales, just overall customer support, and so on. So first off, I just want to thank you for allowing us to be here. Okay. About myself. So again, Justin Parrott. I've been in the RV industry almost 23 years. I was at a dealership for 20 plus, now with Blue Ox. My role with Blue Ox is I'm one of the trainers. So I go in mainly to dealers and train them on sales, service, and parts. But I also deal with the end user, as in, if they got a question on fit or install or anything like that. Also, I deal with that also. So.
Okay. And so can you just tell us what is Blue Ox? What does Blue Ox do for the RV industry?
So, most people have heard the name, of course.
Yeah.
Blue Ox is a pretty big name. Kind of the background on Blue Ox. A lot of people don't know it. It's a fourth generation family owned company. The company foundation now is Hesse Enterprises. But automatic equipment is kind of our next step down from that. It was founded in 1925. And then Blue Ox, the actual name and towing company, was purchased in the 80s. And of course, we've since then grown from that. Of course, we have a huge presence in the flat towing market, but we're also now expanding big into our weight distribution and so on for trailers. We got some new stuff coming down the pipeline on the fifth wheel side, and of course, getting into some more of the automotive stuff.
Okay. Pretty broad then in the industry.
Yeah, and we're always looking to expand and grow that platform, and increase that Blue Ox name and footprint and so on.
You had said something in your introduction that I did not realize that, well, one, that you do a lot of these events and rallies, but you'll do service out here for customers. So somebody's here, they have Blue Ox equipment and they have a question for you, or they need some type of help. You guys are able to come out and take a look at the rig?
Yep, exactly. So a lot of people, especially people who have been coming for years, know. And as you've probably seen this morning, we had a pretty good sized line down at our service signups. So what that means is we offer a service, tow bar service. These tow bars are they're not a non-serviceable item. They do need maintenance done to them, as in bushings replaced, greased, and some inspections done. So the average life of a tow bar is about 8 years, 80,000 miles. But again, within that, we like to do servicing and inspections. So a lot of people know that we do this here on site. Depending on the age is the price point of it. But a lot of people like that peace of mind, knowing that factory authorized service technician is put his hands and eyes and everything on it. And if we find an issue at these shows, we do trade-in programs and so on. So that is huge for us here. Of course, then we have a sales booth where people can purchase accessories, new tow bars, and so on. So.
And you guys at Blue Ox, you not only make the tow bar itself, but you also have the base plates and everything you need to be able to flat tow a vehicle.
Yeah, we sell the complete package, all the way from the base plate, the tow bar, all your accessories, and even the braking system.
Oh, even the brakes.
And the majority of that stuff is manufactured right there in Pender, Nebraska, where our factory is located. So we have guys and machines and automotive equipment going every day, usually 24 hours, building this equipment.
Okay. Huh.
When it comes to a base plate and a tow bar and the automotive, industry changing all the time, how long does it take for, like, say, a new model vehicle to come out for you guys to be able to get a base plate to it? Or I guess it varies.
It does vary. We, obviously these manufacturers don't give us a vehicle to build something off of. So we got to basically find that person that has one of those new vehicles that needs it. So until we get that vehicle, it's tough for us to build one. But once we get that vehicle, we get it back to the factory, our engineering and such, build that base plate, check all the wiring, and build wiring kits if we need to and such. And then as soon as that is built and instructions are made, it's released and goes into production right away.
Okay.
Interesting.
So you also mentioned this in your introduction that you guys are making weight distribution hitches, and those are used more for towables like travel trailers or cargo trailers, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us why is weight distribution hitch so important rather than just tying it onto your bumper?
Sure. So the number one thing with weight distribution comes down to safety. With safety of the people that are towing that trailer, but the safety of people all around you.
Okay.
If you don't have that weight distributed properly, it can be a very unsafe and cause a catastrophe, which nobody wants. So weight distribution is a huge importance, especially nowadays. And with the newer consumer we're seeing, some of them aren't quite as educated on that type of stuff, so they're figuring out real quick that that's a very important thing. And trust me, I come from, like I said, a dealership of 20 plus years, and I've heard and seen some accidents with people that didn't have the proper towing equipment or properly set up. Like I said, it can become a dangerous situation. But so we make 3 different weight distributions now. We kind of have a 3-tier, like a good, better, and best. So of course our good's going to be more of a value model, and then our best is kind of in the middle of the road. Gives it 4 points of sway characteristics built in, and then we have our high-end premium Sway Pro, which is the cat's meow of weight distribution. It really works well, and a lot of dealers and consumers really rave over it. So, but the one thing we do different on our Track Pro and Sway Pro that nobody else does on the market is in the head. Our heads have what they call a caster in it. So that's similar to like your vehicle. But what it does in trailering is these bars always pull into center. So what that means is if it goes into a sway one way or another, what it does, it puts more pressure on one bar and less on another, vice versa, to help correct that, pull that behind that towed vehicle. So with that being said, that's more of a corrective sway. A lot of different models out there use what we call friction. Friction is just a resistance. It does resist that sway, but it doesn't really correct sway. It's just trying to slow sway down. So that's where that caster is really a huge benefit for that end user. And that caster is going to work in all weathers. And why I say that is friction, if you put moisture, rain, snow, or anything on it, takes away some of the friction characteristics. Our caster doesn't care what kind of weather it's in. It's always pulling to center. So.
Now, one thing I've heard about weight distribution hitches in the past is that it's important to get that set up correctly for your vehicle and what you're towing.
Sure.
And so is that something that Blue Ox trains service technicians on? I mean, I imagine you want to have that installed by a professional.
Yes, it's definitely advisable to have it installed by a professional. There is some videos out there that will assist those customers that buy over the counter, but most folks don't have a scale to weigh the tongue and know all the characteristics to really get the proper setup, because there's a lot of variables on, the main thing is getting the correct weight rating, and then from there, it expands on the install and stuff depending on what model you buy and so on. But like that's kind of what my job is. I go into dealers. I train anywhere from sales, service, parts, and really we work with a lot of service technicians. So they know when they're leaving one of our authorized service centers with some of our equipment, these are factory trained technicians that that towing setup should be ready to go and be the safest it can for that end user.
Okay.
And
And the same with the tow bar and base plate. I mean, I think that's something you want a professional to definitely install.
Yeah, definitely. That's not something usually you're going to do on your own. You can go to our dealer locator, blueox.com. We have a dealer locator, and you can type in your address. Like I just had a lady earlier asking about some dealers in Chandler, Arizona. So I showed her how to do it and pulled it up, and she was thrilled because those guys are usually factory trained, and have some knowledge and background of our product. We are now, since COVID's kind of hopefully going by the wayside, we're back to doing what we call our Ox Smarts. That's huge for our technicians. They come into our factory, spend a couple days, and working with us guys on tips, hints, and all that on all our new products, and so on to just kind of help speed up everything.
Okay. You had mentioned your factory. Can people go to the factory and have installs performed there?
So we don't really do a lot of installs there unless it's one of the vehicles that's brand new and we need to build something. We try to push that to the actual dealer level just because, Pender is a smaller town. It's a unique town, but we don't really have a full-fledged shop to do new installs. We have our engineering bays and so on for the new builds. Now, I will throw this out there. If you're ever in the Pender area, we do have a campground, which is pretty cool. It's right next to our factory. Don't want to contact our customer service, but they can do factory tours, I believe, on Fridays. But
That's cool.
usually if you have, some type of Blue Ox product on your RV, you'll get some type of discount or even free camping there at our campground.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And how much testing goes into a product like this before you actually are confident in putting it out on the market?
Sure. It is amazing the amount of testing that's done because I actually do some of that now. I just thought before you just build something and there it goes, but no, we do a lot of testing. We do testing ourselves, but then we also have specific dealers that will do some testing for us, and we even have some end users that will do some testing. And the reason we want all those different people with their fingers in the cookie jar is they might do something different than you and I do, and so on. And trust me, the end users, nothing against them, but they can do some stuff that I would think is not possible. But we got to make sure we put it through that ringer just to make sure everything's ready to go.
Yeah.
Covering all the bases.
Exactly.
The weight distribution hitches, is that something that you have here at the show as well for people to take a look at?
So in the exhibition hall here, we do have the Track Pro and the Sway Pro on display. We don't really bring those here for sale, but definitely they can look at them, put their hands on them. We can show them how they operate and so on. And that is something that can be ordered in. But I will tell you, we have a huge presence down here on the weight distribution side. So most of our dealers down here, we can get you in a dealer within probably under an hour pretty quick that has it in stock.
Oh, wow. And the you said there's the average life of the tow bar is about 8 years. And that's if you do the proper maintenance on it. And so is that maintenance service tech level maintenance, or is there maintenance that people can do themselves to keep that product, as good as possible?
There is some basic stuff that the consumer can do that's going to be in that manual they get, as in, checking all the hardware and the boots and so on, make sure everything's lubricated and tight. Again, there's a lot of variables depending on what kind of climate they're in, what kind of, roads they're on, whether they go to Alaska and, they're on the rock roads and what's getting thrown up at these tow bars and so on. But maintenance goes a long ways. We all know that with the RV industry. It's not just our towing equipment. It's everything on an RV. If you don't do the maintenance, you're going to have issues.
Yeah. And how hard is it? I'm a towable person. Kenny's the motorhome guy. But how hard is it to actually hook up a car to this tow bar once you have everything installed?
Sure. So I always tell people there's like 4 key components. Of course, there's your base plate. That's the hitch attachment goes to the front of the car. Number 2 is the tow bar. That's the piece that's going to connect the motorhome to the front of that car. Number 3 is going to be like your safety equipment. That's going to be your wiring, safety cables and such. And then number 4 is the braking system. So once you go to a dealer and get all this installed, it's pretty simple once they walk you through the initial setup. If you're doing it the first time or two, it might take you 10 or 15 minutes, but once you get used to it, you're less than 5 minutes and you're ready to tow.
Okay.
So it's pretty simple, and it's a lot of people, once they get it and they start using it, that's the way to go. They love it. So, but nowadays, definitely that last one I threw out there is braking system. those are of super importance because most states, depending on where you're at, it's pretty much required.
Okay. And is that something you just put in place when you're ready to tow?
Right. So that, like ours is called the Blue Ox Patriot 3. It sits in front of the driver's seat, connects to the brake pedal. It works off inertia. And basically, it uses the existing towed vehicle brakes. And then there's a controller for that end user to put in their motorhome or whatever vehicle they might be towing it with to be able to adjust sensitivity, output, and make sure the brakes are working and so on.
Okay.
I have a question for you. I'm hoping it's not a curveball question. If somebody's thinking about, oh, do I want to put my car on a dolly with the wheels up, or do I want to flat tow, and their car is able to be flat towed, what would you say to them to say, flat towing is the way to go versus a dolly tow?
And that's a great question. And like I said, I've been in the industry 20 plus years. 15 years ago, we sold tons of dollies. Nowadays, most people are realizing once they get to the campground, they got to park that dolly somewhere. And some campgrounds now are charging for storage fee to park that dolly somewhere. And in my personal opinion, it is a little bit more work to set up a dolly than flat towing. Because flat towing, especially like say a Jeep and so on, you can have that ready to tow in just a few minutes and be on your way going through the mountains or whatever you want to do. So nowadays, tow dollies still have a little bit of market for those specific vehicles that can't be flat towed, but majority, as you can tell here, if you look, there's probably not going to be too many dollies here compared to flat tow systems.
Okay.
And should somebody know if their vehicle is flat towable before they even contact you, or is that something that you guys can help them with? Can you say, no, that vehicle's not, because not every vehicle can be.
So with that being said, that's another good question, and this is something I really stress to a lot of my dealers I go into, is how do you verify that vehicle can be towed? The number one thing that I stress to a dealer when they're talking to an end user about setting up a flat tow system is reading their owner's manual. Verify that particular vehicle can be towed. Or contact the manufacturer of it. So if it's a Jeep, contact Jeep, or if it's a GM, and so on, contact them, verify. Because a lot of people use the old analogy of, we just go on Blue Ox's website. If you have a base plate, it must be towable. That is not true because there could be different transmissions or engine types within that same year, even though it's the same frame. So again, don't just trust just going on our site and finding a base plate that is towable. Definitely read in that owner's manual or contact that manufacturer of that vehicle to verify that particular vehicle can be towed.
Yeah, you probably have to give them the VIN number so they can see exactly what the components are in that vehicle or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And it does happen. That's why we really stress that when we're out training. And that's part of our training, so we can try to prevent that type of stuff.
What about on the other side of the tow bar, the RV? Are there some RVs that can't handle a tow bar?
Well, so the RVs have a specific size hitch, depending on the frame and so on. Again, that's all vehicle specific on that end of it. We unfortunately can't control that a lot. I mean, majority of them can pull at least 5,000, so that's pretty good. Unless you get into a B plus, they are limited some, but most of them are going to be 5,000 plus tow rating.
Okay, and so if they have the tow rating, then they're able to do it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And the good thing is with a flat tow system, it's not adding any type of tongue weight or down pressure.
Okay.
It's just all straight static. So basically, there's no extra additional weight on that suspension of that motorhome and so on.
Okay, got it.
That's a good point, too.
Yeah.
What about warranties? How long are parts and things like that warranted for?
So the most important thing that people ask about warranty is going to be our tow bars. I mean, that's the wear item. So that comes with a 3-year warranty. Now, like I said, the life expectancy is around 8 years. We don't see a lot of issues with them. Again, as long as you take care of them and do the maintenance, and throw covers on them, keep them out of the sunlight, makes the boots last longer and so on. And if they do have an issue, like something gets loose or a boot gets a hole in it, get it to an authorized service center and have that stuff replaced, and it's going to save you money in the long run.
And I know you mentioned it's a 4th generation family business.
Yep.
How long have you guys been in year-wise, how long have you guys been in the towing business?
Well, so Automatic Equipment makes grain rollers there in Nebraska.
Okay.
I think I would say they got into the towing side. Like I said, it was in the 80s. Pardon me, I don't know the exact time.
So a long history.
But yeah, the guy that owns it now, his name's Mike, and I think it was his father that bought that portion and got it started.
Okay. Yeah, so 30 years, 40
Mhm.
years almost.
Yep.
Oh, 40
And
years.
we
yeah.
have some other companies, similar lines. We have companies that called Mad Ramps that is in the UTV side of it, where you can haul your car or haul your UTV in the back of your car, and so on. We got an automotive side that's kind of up and coming, and so on.
And then for anybody listening that's not here at the show, they want to purchase a Blue Ox. They've done all the research themselves. Can they buy directly from you, or do you still recommend for them to go to a service center?
Sure. I would definitely highly recommend going to service center.
Okay.
Because with a lot of that being said, is you can read all the stuff on the internet, but when you get in front of somebody that's done it and installed it, they're going to give you a lot of tips and hints and some accessories that you might not purchase up front that you ultimately probably going to want. As in locks and the covers and so on. Just it's small items, but it makes the life and overall usage of everything so much smoother throughout that life of that flat toe system.
Yeah,
So.
YouTube videos can only get you so far, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, and talking to that, parts manager, service manager, or even a lead technician that's done it, they can give you, things they've seen, ran into, and so on. And of course, when we go around, I'm pretty proud to say it. I lots of people, man, just rave over us and love our equipment. So it makes me feel good when I'm going in to work with these guys that they're ready to go.
Yeah. It sounds like a good product as far as history. You guys have probably had many iterations that have improved
so
over time.
So there's a lot of things with Blue Ox. The one thing, and that's probably why I'm with them, is they believe in taking care of the customer. That customer service is hands down the best in the market. I mean, they do an extremely good job from our dealers all the way into our customer service at our factory. So for that end user, they have a lot of sources, whether they go through a dealer or directly with our customer care team that's on the phones quite often, helping people, explaining questions and answers and so on. Our customer service is hands down. They're top notch.
And you guys are doing service here. Is that like a first come, first serve thing?
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up because kind of here recently, we've done these for years where we'd have these big lines at the service signups. So recently, in the last few years, we have what we call online signups. A lot of people are still kind of green to it and don't even know about it. But if they follow our social media pages, there'll be some notices and so on. But at any time, they can go to our blueox.com, go to our events page. On that events page, it's going to show you all the events we're going to attend, as in our rally service team. Okay. So with that being said, on there, it has an online sign-up. So if you sign up online, you're guaranteed a spot. Because unfortunately, there's thousands of coaches here. We can't get to everybody.
Yeah.
So with signing up online, you're guaranteed a spot. But also, like this morning, we still had 40 some signups, which unfortunately, I hate to say it, will be sold out today. But we try to accompany everybody we can. And then the ones we can't get to, if we get time, we'll try to at least go out and do a quick inspection to see if it's time to upgrade to a new tow bar and so on.
Okay.
But also, if customers can't get to us here at this shows and so on, they can always contact our customer care team. And for $150, they can send it into our factory, get it rebuilt there by a factory authorized service center or service tech, and also it'll be shipped back. So it's $150 freight both ways, and it gets rebuilt.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I have one more question about the tow bar, and that is, do you have different levels of tow bar just like you do for the weight distribution?
Sure. So on the recreational vehicle side, because we build many, many different tow bars, some of them aren't really vehicles or specific to the RV industry, but like the four kind of specific ones we have a kind of a good, better, and best. But the two we'll mainly talk about, and the two we're going to show here, and the two you're going to see here mainly. The number one's going to be the Avail. That's the bread and butter throughout the industry. It's an all steel 10,000 pound bar. Wow. It's just bulletproof. It's a really good tow bar. And then the other one we also have is the same footprint. It's just an aluminum version. It's called an Ascent. It's a 7,500 pound tow bar. It's just made out of aluminum product. So it's a lot easier for that customer that doesn't want to lift as much. If they're going to be carrying it in and out, it's going to be quite a bit lighter. It just is limited slightly on the tow rating, but still 7,500 pounds is pretty much going to tow almost all the vehicles you're going to see here.
Yeah. That was one of my questions too, is as we get up in age, we're not as able to pick up that heavy stuff. So is that limited though once everything's installed? If you leave it on your coach and keep it covered, you're not going to be lifting heavy things every time.
And that's why I think the Avail excels. because it is a touch cheaper just because it is a steel version, but it gives you that higher tow rating, and you're not really lifting it. You're mainly just folding. You're lifting part of the arms, but you're not really taking the whole weight like you would initially on the install and so on. Most people, these tow bars aren't given away. They got a pretty good value to them.
Yeah.
Put some type of lock on there just to prevent any type of theft or that thing walking off on you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so you can lock it right to your RV.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we sell lock kits that lock it in the motorhome, and then we also sell lock kits that lock your car to that tow bar. So let's say you stop at a rest area overnight or wherever, you can physically lock those vehicles together. So, I've never really heard of it, but somebody can't come up and just take your vehicle and so on.
Then all you have to worry about is your catalytic converter being there in the morning. Right?
Yeah, that's a whole other ballgame. Like I said, I come from a dealership, and where I come from, I would say in the last 18 months, that one dealer itself that I worked at had pushing 50 catalytic converters stolen.
Wow. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
So people want to learn more about it. If they're not here at the show, they can go to blueox.com.
Right.
And check it
so,
out.
Our website is blueox.com. On there, that's going to give them all kinds of different things. The product we just talked about, even more accessories and so on. Also, it's going to have that events page on there where those customers can see what events we're going to attend and also sign up online if they want to get that locked in service appointment.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, Justin, thanks so much for spending time with
Not a
us this morning, and we look forward to getting you or somebody from your team on a longer podcast so we can go more into detail on this.
Yeah, we enjoy doing this. We enjoy being able to communicate with our customers on all different platforms. And again, like I said, customer service hands down.
All right. Well,
Awesome.
thanks.
All right.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate
and
it,
we'll be
guys.
by your booth to check out your stuff over
All
there.
right,
Yeah.
come on by.
And thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow morning with 2 more episodes here live from the FMCA convention in Tucson, Arizona.
We want to thank Justin for taking the time out of working the Blue Ox booth and chatting with us. It was very interesting to me to learn that Blue Ox is a 4th generation family-owned business. I always find that kind of nice to hear. We also enjoyed learning about Blue Ox manufacturing process and how long it takes to make these base plates, especially on a new vehicle. We like hearing how long it takes to get to a market, and we also like to hear that it's made right here in the USA. If you're looking for towing solutions for your RV, check out Blue Ox at blueox.com. We want to thank our sponsor, Battleborn Batteries, and remind you that going on right now is our 100 amp hour Battleborn battery giveaway. All you need to do is go to our website, beyondthewheelpodcast.com, push the enter button, and you're good. You have until June 12th, 2022 to enter. Take care all and safe travels.